Well, we are here to talk about sales. Are we excited?
Yes.
I know. Ladies, how many of you are really excited about what you do and are passionate about sharing it with the people that you serve? Of course you are, right? That's what selling is about. That's it. That's what it's about. It is about being passionate and loving what you do. And yet, when we think about selling, what do we think about? We think about the person in the furniture store, right? Talk to the hand. No, don't help me. I'm just looking. How many of you done that?
Yeah.
How many of you been to a timeshare? Oh, you laugh. Yes, I know you laugh, right? I'm gonna tell you some statistics though. And Tammy from Games, right? She was telling us about it. 82% of new businesses fail in the first 2 years. 50% of new businesses fail in the first 5 years. 86% of businesses fail due to a lack of cash flow. Can we all agree that it is cash that keeps our business going, and it is sales that drives the revenue, that drives the cash, that keeps our business afloat? You need sales. Sales are the lifeline of your business. And whether we like it or not, and how many people think of sales and go, ew.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
We've got a few, but I know out there everyone's going, ew, ick, right? But here's the thing. A lot of us, there are a few myths out there. A few of us think that, oh, that person must have been born a salesperson. I've been really successful in selling, super successful. My career in construction, top performer at every single company I worked for 25 years. But it wasn't always like that. No, I'm going to tell you a story. And I call this story The Sharks and the Guppy. Okay, so this is how it starts. I start in sales, and I'm selling this thing called a time clock. Does anyone know what a time clock is? It's that, you know when you go to your job and you have that card, and you have to put the card into the clock so that they pay you? Or if you're late, your boss, goes, right? That thing? Well, it's not like they need those every year, but I'm excited because I'm a sales professional. I have a business card and it says so on it. I showed my mom and dad. I was so proud. I'm a sales professional and I have the right attitude. Oh, and I have personality and charm. Have you heard that? You need personality and charm to be a sales professional, to be good at selling. And I'm like, ooh, I can do this. So I go out there and I've got this time clock and I'm going to sell these time clocks. And I go out there and I start knocking on doors. And I know someone talked about no, no, no. Have we all had no's? Yes, yes, yes. And do we like those no, no, no's? No, no, no. Dejection and rejection, it's not fun, right? But I'm going to ask you something. And this is my little thing and this is my gift to you. When you go into a shoe store, do you like every pair of shoes in the shoe store? No. Of course not. So are your customers going to like every single product, or are they going to like you bringing your product in? They're not always going to like you. So don't take it personally. It's just like the shoes in the shoe store, right? So don't worry about it. That's how I got over my dejection and rejection. Plus, I had that business card. It said I was a sales professional. So I keep going, and I'm like, okay, I can get past the no's. I can do this. And then I keep knocking on doors, and they'd say, can't you read the sign? It says no soliciting. I'm like, Okay, so that one hurt a little bit more. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I'm tough, I'm resilient, right? Positive manifestation for all of you that were out there. I can do this, right? Yeah. Okay. But every day it was getting a little bit worse and a little bit worse, and my self-esteem was starting to go down, and and that was okay. But every once in a while, I was so excited because I got an appointment with a customer. And I'd go in there, and I was so excited, and I'd stand in front of this customer, and I'd be, I was so excited because I had personality and charm, remember? And I had a business card. So I was prepared. I was so prepared. No, I was not prepared. That was the problem. I was not prepared, planned, and practiced. And that's the problem. I didn't have any sales skill. So I go in, and what would I do? I would go on and on and on and on and on and on, and this is my product, and this is its time clock, and this is how it works, and it's made out of steel, and it's really, really great. And these are the cards, and the cards go in, and you can do this, and you can do that, and this is great. And then, your HR person can do this, and you could on and on and on, and you could see this customer. And at first they were kind of engaged, and then they started to wilt like a flower. And then, and then I realized that the customer kind of turns into a shark, and I'm the guppy. And he spits me out. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good, because he was not happy because I was doing what's called a product dump, where all you do is go on and on and on about what your product does. And here's the thing, 50% of calls, so when you go out and you're promoting your product or services, 50% of you are doing a product dump. You don't have a mental map of where you're going or what you're doing. You're just going on and on and on about your product. You don't ask for a close. You don't ask questions. You don't do any of the things that you're supposed to do to engage your client. All you're doing is going on and on and on, and you're overwhelming and you are losing your client. Instead, you do want to be asking questions. Every time you ask your customer a question, and the deeper, the better quality of the question that you ask, the more engagement you're going to get back. The better the quality of the question, the better the quality of the answer. Now, not only that, but instead of doing that product dump, what you want to do is you want to do features and benefits. What it is, what it does, and how that customer is going to benefit, okay? Now, the other thing that you want to do, instead of just, getting eaten up and spit out, you want to make sure that with your clients that you're doing other things like having sales processes. Because if you aren't confident and you aren't planned, prepared, and practiced when you go in terms of the things that you want to say, and you have it written down, because your shark can take you all over the little swimming pool, all over. You want to make sure you bring them back. So write down what you want to talk about, all the specific things before you go into that call, so that you're really prepared. You know your stuff. I wasn't prepared, I wasn't planned, I wasn't practiced. And they knew it, they can tell. And what happens is you go into left brain. Your left brain is your analytic brain. Your right brain is your creative brain. In your analytic brain, you stay focused. When you go into your right brain, that's fight, flight, or freeze. And when you go there, what happens is you start missing steps in the sales process. You take risks that you wouldn't normally do, i.e. you start giving away big discounts that you normally wouldn't do. You start saying things that you wouldn't say. You start listening to the little voice inside of your head going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. Oh, what was I thinking? Oh, la, 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 la. And you fail to listen to what your customer's saying to you. And you're missing the clues that they're telling you, because customers give you clues when they're talking to you, right? And you're missing them. But worse than that, what happens when you miss those steps in the cycle, in the sales cycle, and that's why it's so important to have sales training so that you know what those steps are. When you miss those steps, it triggers what's called the amygdala in the client's brain, and that's called the reptile brain. And what happens is psychologically, they automatically feel a sense of distrust towards you. You haven't even presented, and they're thinking, don't like that person. No, don't like them. I'm not buying from them. And that's the problem. You haven't even gotten to your big presentation yet, and they've already psychologically, without even them knowing, they've already said, no, not interested. So it's very, very important to have sales skill, to know those processes, to have a mental map. I mean, seriously, would you drive a car with a blindfold on? No, of course not, right? Otherwise you'd drive all over the place. And that's what I did. I went in, and these sharks, they ate me up and spit me out like a little guppy. I didn't like being a guppy. It wasn't very fun. And if you don't have a mental map of where you're going and what you need to do, you're going to be belly up like me. And I'll tell you what happened in the end. You know, I'd go back to the office, and I'd be like, oh, well, that was a great day. Not. And I'd go into the office, and I'd straighten out the paperwork, and yeah, that was a great day. And then, the next day I'd come back, and I'd play with the paperwork a little bit more. But I'd go home. I'd say, oh, I'm going out to make my sales calls. But things had gotten so bad, my self-esteem, my confidence, everything had dropped so much that what I did was I'd go back and I'd sit on the couch all day and watch TV. I had gotten to such a low point that I'd compromised my integrity, my honor, my values. I was lying to myself, I was lying to my boss, I was lying to my company, I was lying to my parents, I was lying to everybody. How do you live with that? I don't ever want anyone to ever sink to the place that I sunk to. It's a horrible, horrible place to be. And that's why in 2016 I had a near-death scuba diving incident where I crossed over, came back. It's in the book. And that's why I became a sales trainer and a speaker, to help people, because I don't ever want anyone to be in that position. I'm here to help you sell better, to save your businesses, because I don't want to hear another Tammy story ever in my life. There are too many Tammy stories. And so this is what authentic selling is about. It's not about making money. When you go in and you are talking to a client, and I hear this one all the time, let's go for lunch. When you go for lunch, you get to know that person. Don't go with the idea of, oh, I'm going to sell them my whatever it is. That's not your purpose. Selling and authentic selling is about educating, informing, creating a vision, telling a story. It's about serving, not about making money. When you put making money first, your customer will truly turn into a shark, and you will definitely be the guppy. Thank you.